why Tucker Carlson got fired. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to roll through a bunch of clips, a bunch of web pages, a bunch of tweets, and I'm going to make some connections here. So I'm just going to be rolling through it with you guys. I'm not going to like clip it together like I usually do because I'm still figuring it out, but I'm pretty sure this is why. All right, so let's go into this. Switch over here. Now, this was tweeted by somebody. They were talking about, the top owners. Can you guys see that? Let me click on here, make sure you can see my mouse. So top owners of Fox Corp, right? And who do we see at the top? We have Vanguard here. If you can't read it, I apologize. We have Vanguard here, Vanguard Group Inc. at 6.6%. Then we have Dodge and Cox at 4.9%. Then we have BlackRock Fund Advisors at 3.16%, 316, right? So right away, so it's like, let's look into these people. Like, what do they own? So they own Fox, but what else do they own, right? So I go here, I look up this site. So with 70% ownership shares of, on this channel, I treat this word like Voldemort because I don't know what they'll do to my channel. And this is my livelihood. This is what my wife depends on me to do this. So I don't say this company name, but you can see what it is. Ownership 70%. So who owns the 70%? Let me go all the way down here for you guys. Vanguard Group. Let me highlight this for you guys so you can see. Vanguard Group is currently the largest shareholder with 8.9% shares outstanding, with 7.8% and 5.7% of the shares outstanding respectively to BlackRock and Capital Research and Management Company. So they're the second and third largest holders. But again, we'll focus on BlackRock and Vanguard. So BlackRock are the number one and number two shareholders in this company. Keep in mind that I'm only looking into this company. I'm not looking into all pharmaceutical companies because there's more. There's a bunch more that I could be looking into, but we're only focusing on one. And I think that's telling enough. So we go here and I think of, well, how much ad revenue have they spent? And, this is going from 2008 to 2022, right? So how much did they spend in 2022? Or 2022, sorry. $2.8 billion. $2.8 billion. That's a lot of money for one company to spend. Now, where do they spend it? They spend it in media, right? They spend it in all media. The CNNs, the CSNBCs, the ABCs, the Fox. Like, they spend it everywhere. So that's a lot of money that they have to go around. Then you come here. So I'm just going to go to the top of this so you can see top shareholders. So now we're going to go to the top institutions. And this is pretty much a little repetitive. But again, just to verify, because I don't just like to look up one thing. I like to find it again and again at different sources so it makes more sense. But here we're seeing BlackRock again and Vanguard, number one and number two. Numbers vary a little bit. Here they're saying 8.7. Here they're saying 7.7 in terms of BlackRock and how much they have. Value of, let me go up for a little bit for you guys. Value of, let me zoom in as well. Yeah, let's zoom in a little bit. One more. That might be a little much, but I want you guys to see it. So BlackRock has a value of 22 billion, 22.2 billion, 7.7%. Vanguard, 25 billion, 0.33 at 8.7%. Okay. So they're the top two again, just to verify. Then I go here. Now this is Dodge and Cox. So this to go all the way up just so you can verify the actual, this is a New York Times article, very left leaning. If anything, they would try and push things the opposite way or not show this type of information at all. But they're showing it here. Dodge and Cox, holder of almost 3.1% of all shares for Voldemort Company. Manages a stock. So that, I don't have to get into all that. But they have 3.1% of all the shares. So it's not the number 3 holder, but it's up there, 1.6. They have ownership. That's the main thing I want to show, is that they also have ownership in a pharmaceutical company, period. This is just verifying the spending once again, 2.8 billion. Then we're going here. We're just seeing how much they actually spend. I just wanted to know how much advertising is actually spent by pharmaceutical companies into the media. And they're throwing out some different numbers here, but we're just focusing in. So then I come here and I'm going through this feed, and then I start seeing some of this, which I have verified this to be true. I'm showing variance in numbers, but this is actually true. So BlackRock owns 59 million shares of Dominion. BlackRock owns 45 million shares of Fox, which I've found to be true. BlackRock sued itself and fired Tucker Carlson as part of the lawsuit. It's pretty crazy, right? And then then RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he actually said this right as all this happened. He said the exact same thing I did. Let's just go. 5 days after he crosses the red line by acknowledging that TV networks pushed a deadly and ineffective to please their pharmaceutical or pharma advertisers, Carlson's breathtakingly courageous April 19th monologue broke TV's two biggest rules. Tucker told the truth about how greedy pharma advertisers controlled TV news content, and he lambasted newscasters for promoting the jab they knew to be not so great. I won't use his words. Again, trying to make sure I survive this whole thing. I can't bring this to you guys if I get completely shut down on my channel. So I tiptoe where I need to tiptoe, but still try to bring you the information. For many years, Tucker has been a biggest audience, 3.5, so he's just saying some good things about Tucker. And Fox demonstrated the terrifying power of big pharma. So basically exactly what I was saying. He took a swipe at big pharma, and it was no good. And again, I'm just going to go here. I'm going to play that clip for you guys again, just so you guys understand.
And should not. Well, here's one measure of their badness. You can try this at home. Ask yourself, is any news organization you know of so corrupt that it's willing to hurt you on behalf of its biggest advertisers? Anyone who do that is obviously Pablo Escobar level corrupt and should not be trusted. What would that look like? That level of corruption. Well, imagine that the Trump administration had made it mandatory for American citizens to buy MyPillow. That's one of Fox News' biggest advertisers. Imagine the administration declared that if you didn't rush out and buy at least one MyPillow, and then at least another booster pillow, you would not be allowed to eat out. You couldn't re-enter your own country. You couldn't have a paying job. MyPillow, they told you with a straight face, was the very linchpin of our country's public health system. Now imagine as they told you that Fox, as a news organization, endorsed it, amplified the government's message. Imagine if Fox News attacked anyone who refused to buy MyPillow as an ally of Russia, as an enemy of science. And then imagine that Fox kept up those libelous attacks even as evidence mounted that MyPillow caused heart attacks, fertility problems, and death. If Fox News did that, what would you think of Fox News? Would you trust us? Of course you wouldn't. You would know that we were liars. Thank heaven Fox News never did anything like that, but the other channels did. The other channels took hundreds of millions of dollars from big pharma companies, and then they shilled for their sketchy products on the air. And as they did that, they maligned anyone who was skeptical of those products. At the very least, this was a moral crime.
Now, I just wanted to play that just so you guys understand. I mean, there's only a few more seconds to the clip, but that was what he said that day, April 19th. And I think this is the clip or the monologue that ended up being a little bit too much. Now, I'll go back to that first clip that I showed you guys, right, of Vanguard dodging Cox and BlackRock. So altogether, in terms of Fox, we're talking about let's just say between the two here, we got a nice, let's say 11%, right? Solid 11%. And then over here, we got 316. So we got like 14.1% of Fox just between these three companies. And these three companies have invested big into the pharma industry. Now, keep in mind, I'm only looking into one pharmaceutical company. I'm only looking into 3 of the owners that are on that list. If I looked into all of them and I looked into more companies, what would we find? I think this is the exact reason that Tucker was released from Fox, or is now, I'm hearing rumors that he's on contract, but he can't say anything. So like they pulled his show, and this is a way of silencing him, not only just from saying what he has to say about the situation, but also trying to silence him through the elections. Like I really hope not. I hope his lawyer is strong enough to stop that from happening and that we get to hear from Tucker ASAP. But I think this is exactly what happened. And now, as I go back here, I was showing you this tweet, but I didn't show you who posted it. Mr. James O'Keefe. Mr. James O'Keefe. I'm real, and again, James O'Keefe noticed this very quickly because James O'Keefe went through the exact same thing. You see, James O'Keefe did the exact same thing. He took a swipe at that industry and then days later was ousted from his company. Now, with James O'Keefe's situation, we don't know who the donors are to his nonprofit company, Project Veritas, because when it's a non-for-profit, the donors are allowed to stay private. They don't have to show who they are. In terms of Fox, all that information is there to see. And we can look into those companies that own Fox, and then we can look into what they own. And it's very easy to make these connections if we just sit down and look a little bit. But yeah, I'm really hoping that this gentleman, James O'Keefe, and Tucker Carlson get together in some way, even if they aren't working together in O'Keefe Media, if they just at least have a sit down together and just have a conversation. I would love to see that. They've probably done that behind the scenes. They've probably talked a little bit. I'm sure James has called him. He's a very genuine, authentic man, and so is Tucker. So I'm sure they've talked, just had a genuine conversation, a genuine pep talk of don't worry, you're going to get through this. I'm sure that's happened. And I can definitely say this. If they end up getting together, I will 100% do everything in my power to work for them. I will move to whatever state that they say so. I will do whatever I have to do. I've made jokes about wearing a suit. I will put on a suit. I'll do whatever I have to do to work with those two if they come together on something. I'm just saying. I will be a producer. I will be a newscaster. I will do whatever they need. But on a serious note, I just wanted to say, this is more than likely what's happened to Tucker. He took a swipe at this industry, and they took a swipe right back. And we can only pray that he comes out on the other side of this just bigger and better than ever, like I said before. But I am very secure in my thinking. Before, it was just something I speculated because I saw it. But after making these connections and seeing, who owns Fox and then what they own, and then finding out that they own some of Dominion as well, just makes sense. The connections are there. So, other than that, I'm out.